Okay. We're ready to get started. So again, my name is Bitcoin Mike. I am going to be your host tonight, and I want to thank you for taking the time to be here for this Cryptex DeFi hybrid contract overview. Okay, so the next voice you're going to be hearing from is going to be Coach Brian. Coach Brian has been involved in the direct sales and network distribution industries for the last 30 years. In that time, he has consistently built massive teams and developed a great deal of expertise in the technology, health and wellness, and cryptocurrency fields. His reputation as a coach, trainer, and comp plan developer has led to several companies recruiting him as an executive level consultant. In that capacity, he has spent the last decade plus developing teams in North America, South America, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and Asia, helping them facilitate the sales of more than $1 billion in products and services. So he's well versed in the information that he's going to deliver to you. So the next voice you're going to hear from is going to be none other than Coach Brian. Coach Brian, are you there, sir?
I'm here, Mike. Can you hear me, sir?
Loud and clear, sir.
All
Take
right.
it away.
Fantastic, man. Well, thanks so much for getting this all set up. Thank you for your leadership and things you're doing time and time again. As I always say, not just in front of the scenes, but behind the scenes, man. Just really leading by example and actually knocking this to the moon, man. And I appreciate you. Appreciate the incredible team we have. And listen, I'm excited. I'm excited to have so many amazing guests here. It looks like from all around the world. So I'm going to get to it and just share some information with you guys about Cryptex. I do always want to start it off, though, with just the reality check, the disclaimer. People ask this question all the time, so I'm going to tell you right now, neither myself nor Mike nor anyone who invited you to this presentation is an owner or an officer with the company. We're just like you. Somebody explained this information to us a short time ago. We did our research. Our research capabilities may be a little bit higher than some people, just because we're really from this industry. We know the space, but we did our research, and after doing that research and looking at the risk parameters, we realized that this was a good fit for us, and we decided to engage. And I simply ask you to evaluate the information for yourself tonight, and then decide if you want to do the same. Now, first of all, I'm going to just go through three things for you, and then we're going to wrap up. First, the Cryptex offer. I'm going to tell you who Cryptex is, why you're here tonight, why did someone want you to be on here, what's in it for you. The second thing is, once I do that, I promise you at some point, especially when I show you what they're going to offer you with these incredible DeFi hybrid contracts, you're going to say there's no way that that can be real. So now I'm going to show you the proof. I'm going to show you the proof that it's real, all the research that we did. And then finally, if you're like us, once we really got down to the core and the meat of it, and we realized just how incredible and life-changing this could be, we knew there were people we wanted to talk to about it right away. If you're like us and you want to share it, it's your choice. You don't have to. But if you want to share it, we're going to show you an optional referral program where you can start making money immediately. And I mean, as of the second this webinar is over. So with that said, I want you to just imagine for a second, if you were driving down the street and you saw this billboard. It said bank loans, whatever the bank is in your town, TD Bank, Bank of America, but $30,000 to $40,000 loans, guaranteed approval, no credit check, no income check. Don't even care if you have a job. We don't even care what your name is. You don't even have to provide us any ID. If you have $100 processing fee, you're walking out of the building today with a $30,000 or a $40,000 loan, whichever one you want. Guys, I guarantee if you saw that and you drove down to that local bank, you'd see a line across the horizon of people waving their $100 bills in the air. If you came back a month or 2 months later, you'd see a bank that was out of business, right? Because there's no way they could exist and survive by paying out these loans and not even knowing who they were giving them to. People would never come back and give them the money back. Well, I'm telling you something right now. I want you to relax. I just want to get you in the right mindset, because I'm going to show you how a company called Cryptex has taken some of the higher level elements of this. As crazy as that offer is, they've taken the higher level elements of it and they've set it up into a scenario where, through a partnership, a 4-part partnership, nobody loses, and they've eliminated the risk. So I want to show you that right now, but I first want to tell you who Cryptex is. It's a community-based project utilizing a blockchain-based DeFi staking protocol, and as its point for earning. Now, guys, here's the deal. They maintain partnerships with banks, insurance companies, and individual account holders like us, and they make sure we're all set up to profit. They do that by offering a DeFi hybrid contract, and it consists of two parts: a smart contract as well as a decentralized Oracle network. Now, even if you've never heard of it, that's okay. They've been doing it for a while. They've got over 800,000 account holders around the world, and they've been at this since 2016. So this is not new, even if it's new to you. Now, if you don't know what staking is, that's okay. It's the process of keeping your crypto assets locked, in this case, Bitcoin, for a contractual period of time in order for us to be able to generate passive income. And in this case, we're talking about daily returns. Those locked assets protect the network's ability to generate these profits. And as a reward, the staker slash participant, that's us, we're able to get back those daily returns. This is very similar to getting a CD from your bank. If you go into your bank tomorrow morning and you say, hey, what are your returns? What type of interest can I earn on your certificates of deposit? You're going to notice a quick pattern. The longer you let them hold your money, a year versus 6 months, 2 years versus a year, the higher the interest rate is, because the longer they can hold on to your money, the more they can profit from it, the more they can pay you on the back end. Very similar concept here. What Cryptex has done, though, is they've created this incredible profit partnership: insurance companies, banks, smart contracts, and us. Everybody has their role. And when everybody does what they're supposed to do, everybody is able to get paid. For your part, you're going to create a free account with Cryptex using only your email address and password. That's right. They don't care about any other personal information. I'm going to show you why in a second. Now, you're then going to pay $100 processing fee for every DeFi staking contract that you want. That's your only responsibility. At that point, you then decide, do you want your contract or contracts term years to be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or 7 years? And keep in mind, you can secure a maximum of 80 contracts. Now, for the bank's part, here's where it gets interesting. The bank is going to make a loan directly to the staking contract on your behalf. That's important what I just said. They're not going to give you the money and tell you to go and give it to Cryptex. They're going to give it directly to Cryptex on your behalf. That means you can't get your hands on the money and go do something else with it. That's why they don't care about your credit. They don't care about your job, and they don't even care about your name, because you don't get to touch the money. It goes directly to Cryptex. Now, that loan is going to be an amount of $30,240 if you pick a 2 or 3 year contract term, or $43,200 for a 5 or 7 year contract term. Now, for the bank's part, why are they doing this? Because they're going to get back somewhere between 5.5 and 6.75% interest every single year. And at the end of the contract term, they're going to get back their initial loan amount. So that's great for the bank. Now, here's the other part. The insurance company steps in and they eliminate all the remaining risk for the bank, because they're going to insure the Cryptex staking wallet against catastrophic loss or default. That means if anything, for any reason, happens to Cryptex and it doesn't survive, the banks know they're guaranteed to get their money back. The insurance company does this because they're going to get premiums of $210 or $300 per month per loan, depending on the length of the loan. And this, again, removes all the risk from the bank. And then finally, you've got the smart contract. Guys, they calculate all of your daily profits. It's done automatically on code released onto the blockchain, 0.1 to 0.3% micro compounded every single day. This is also going to pay the bank its annual interest as well as its initial capital back at the end of the loan, meaning you don't have to worry about loan payments and figuring out where it's going to come from. All this is being paid to the bank automatically out of the profits that are being generated. They're also going to use those profits to pay the insurance company every single month. And at the end, after everyone else has been paid, they're going to assign the remaining profits to you. That's why you're doing this. Now, you're going to have the option of looking at what you want. Do you want the 2 year? Do you want the 3 year, the 5 year, the 7 year? Or do you want to take advantage of one of these or both of these bonus packs where you can actually get you can pay $1,000, and instead of getting 10 loans for the 1,000, you get 15 contracts, which means 5 bonus contracts. You can do that with the 2 years, or you can do that with the 3 year contracts. You can get one of those packs. Remember, though, there's a strict limit of only 5 packs combined per actual account holder. So keep that in mind when you're developing your strategy. Now, What is the difference between 2, 3, 5, and 7 instead of just the length of years? What is the difference back to you? Let's cover it. Remember, you can get any combination of these contracts that you want to a maximum of 80 contracts. Keep that in your mind when you're developing your strategy. So if you pick the 2-year staking term, you're going to pay a $100 processing fee. In fact, that's going to be the same for you no matter what term you pick. However, here's where it's different. Number one, for the 2-year staking term, the loan that the bank is going to make to the staking pool is going to be $30,240. That is what is going to compound, not your $100. This initial capital of $30,240 that is being risked, it's not yours. That's the best part about Cryptex. It's the bank's money, but you're going to be able to earn from that initial loan. And with $30,240, after everyone else gets paid, that means the insurance company is paid every month. The bank is getting interest every year, and the bank gets back their 30 grand at the end of the loan. What's left over for you and your family at the end of 2 years is $22,000 for every 2-year staking contract that you actually got. So $100 for you for a processing fee, a $30,000 upfront loan. Everybody gets paid, and at the end, you've got 22 grand left over to put into your pocket. If you do a 3-year loan, a 3-year contract, you're going to get the same loan amount. Okay, but it will stake for a year longer, and as a result, you're going to end up with 35 grand plus in your pocket. For a 5-year, it's 2 years longer of staking. It's also a much bigger loan, almost 50% more, which means it's going to be far more explosive. How explosive? 471 grand you're putting into your pocket at the end of 5 years. And for a 7-year contract, also the 43,000 loan to get started with. But now you're staking and it's getting really explosive. $1.5 million in change in your pocket after 7 years. So you decide which one makes the most sense for you, what combination, what strategy. You can get up to 80 of these loans combined, so you can really set yourself up for an incredible future. And it looks just like this. Once a contract is selected and the $100 processing fee is paid, the appropriate loan amount is instantly paid to the staking contract. Here's someone that actually had just gotten started with this. They got a 3-year loan. They were amazed. As soon as they actually paid the $100 processing fee, they noticed right away the $30,240 popped up as a loan into the staking pool on their behalf. Within 24 to 48 hours, you start earning daily compounded rewards based off of that initial loan amount. Remember, this was just one loan that they got. You could get up to 80 loans, so you could end up with millions of dollars of loans in the staking pool, and that's what you're compounding off of every single day if you really want to get the explosion going. Now, I know, let's get to the first elephant in the room, because I know you guys are already thinking it, and I told you that you would, right? The first elephant in the room is this real? Because let's face it, there's not a person on the planet, if I said, hey, you pay $100 processing fee, and in 2 years you get back 22, 3 years you get back 35, 5 years 471, 7 years 1.5 million. Everybody would say yes to that. In fact, they'd say, how many $100 bills could I give you if they believe that it was real? So let's just get to that, because we had the same exact thought and we went into it to get the proof. Here's the first thing we got excited about. Because of the staking terms, the 2, 3, 5, and 7 years, and the company had been around, or a project had been around for 9 years, clearly there was a bunch of people who had already been paid. So we wanted to see the proof. We wanted to get logged into people's back offices and show us the proof. And here's what we found. We found someone who had gotten involved several years ago, and they showed us that they had actually a few years earlier got some of these contracts, and now they were being paid out. And here you can probably see the dates from here. This was January 10th, 2023. They were able to withdraw $99,800 right out of their Cryptex wallet. So this is into their own personal control. Just 1 day later, 89,487. And then a couple of months later, on March 15th, 100,000 withdrawal. March 18th, 100,000 withdrawal. March 20th, 112,000 withdrawal. And then March 21st, 100,580. Guys, if you add that all up, that's more money that they were able to withdraw from Cryptex, because a few years earlier, they made the smart business decision of getting some contracts. That's more money they were able to withdraw from Cryptex in a few month period than than most people earn in years and years working at their job. So think about that for a second as you start to understand the power of what we're offering. Now, we also found someone, his name was Mo, that was willing to actually record a video and document the entire process. I took some screenshots from that video, but here's what he was able to show us. Number one, he wanted to show us the whole process. So he went into his contracts, and you'll be able to look at him at this level of detail for all of your contracts as well, where we could actually see that he got these contracts. This was 2 contracts. He got them on November 20, 2020. And then it shows you the exact date that the contract is going to actually mature, which in this case was November 21st, 2023. So 3 years later, 3-year contracts. Now you'll notice the amount that he got for his loans here was $43,200. That is something they offered back in 2020. They no longer offer that for 3-year contracts, but I just want to be completely transparent so you understand all of the math. Now you'll see here on exactly November 21st of 2023, which is the day that they said it was going to terminate, he got a letter, or an email, I should say, from Cryptex that said, hey, listen, hey, Mo, come get your dough. It basically laid out for him for DeFi contracts. He actually blanked out because this is his personal business, but it tells us, listen, you got these contracts back in 2020. They have now come to their maturity date exactly as of today. The total that is in the wallet is $501,487 and change. We had some end user fees that brought it down to $485, $145, and then we had to give the bank back their money. They call it a loan reversal. You can see there. So it was 2 contracts he got. Each one was $43,200 as a loan. That $86,400 went back to the bank, leaving $398, $745, $68. I'm going to say that again, and it's important. The reason I'm saying it twice: $398,745.68 left over for Mo. The reason why I said that twice is because I want you to notice that Mo then logged into his back office for us, and he was able to show you his last deposit from Cryptex, $398,745.68. It was just sitting there for him, and Mo right away said, time to withdraw that money. He went and he hit the withdraw button, and here's Mo showing us the crypto ending up out of Cryptex's back office into his non-custodial wallet, completely in his control. He logged in via his cell phone to show us. We can look, we can see 10.597 Bitcoin. That total amount was $388,653.68, which represents a 4% withdrawal fee that he paid to get this money out. Now, 10.597 Bitcoin at the end of 2023 was worth $388,000. Today, it will be worth well over $1 million. Not sure if Mo held onto it or not. That's Mo's business, not my business. But guys, I want you to understand, we're not being paid in dollars. We're being paid in Bitcoin, which is an appreciable asset that continues to go up, meaning any Bitcoin that you're paid today could be worth an absolute fortune in the future. This is far better than being paid in dollars. The final piece that we wanted was the blockchain evidence, guys. We knew that this was a blockchain-based project, and we love that because the blockchain is not only transparent, secure, and public, it also can't be faked. So we said, listen, I understand all the screenshots. I appreciate Mo doing the video, but show me the proof on the blockchain. And this is what people did as they started receiving their payments. They simply noticed that every time you get a payment on a blockchain, what's awesome, you can see the wallet that it came from. And they were able to backtrack to look at Cryptex's payment wallets, and this is what they were found. And this is what they were amazed by, guys. Here's one wallet they found. They found 6 or 7 so far. In fact, I think people just told me a few days ago they found a couple of more, but this is a wallet that they found that was amazing. This wallet says that it transacted on the Bitcoin blockchain 26,530 times, right? So basically, Cryptex puts the crypto in here when people are ready to withdraw it. They put it in, people take it out. So look at what they put in here for people to withdraw. 52,682,588,662. About $53 billion of payouts to Cryptex account holders like me and you. I've never seen a wallet that big in my entire life. And this is what it looked like when we went to the details. You can see The green arrows is when Cryptex is putting the crypto in, the Bitcoin in, so people can withdraw it. The red arrows are people taking those withdrawals. So here's the first red arrow out. This was in May of this year. $6,950,000 being sent out to a Cryptex account holder. Here's another red arrow. $451,000 going out to a Cryptex account holder. Another red arrow. 4,996,000. Another one, 5,038,000. These are going out. That was on the 12th. All the other ones were on the 13th. This is over a matter of 2 days, millions and millions and millions of dollars being sent out to Cryptex account holders. Now, here was the second wallet that they shared with us, guys, because they just wanted to show us. I said I'd never seen a wallet with 53 billion. They said, what about this wallet that Cryptex pays out of? 516 billion, $241,580,691. $516 billion in payments. Again, over 9 years, but who cares? We're talking about an incredible amount of wealth that has been paid out to Cryptex, to families all over the world who simply decided to make a smart business decision. Let's get then to the second elephant in the room. Again, when the first time I showed this to a friend of mine, he said, man, I can't deny it. I'm a blockchain guy. I know it can't be fake. They're paying out billions of dollars, but how do I know that it's not just a super successful $100 Ponzi scheme, and they're not, and that's how they're paying out all of that money? And I said, I'm so glad you asked, because I love math. Let's do some. Cryptex, a little over 800,000 account holders. Let's round that all the way up to 900,000 just to make the math even, right? If it's a $100 processing fee, 900,000 times $100 is 90 million. Now, let's assume that all 900,000 of these members, they all got the full 80 contracts. I know that's not true, but hey, since we're going for it, let's go for it. 900,000 times 100 is 90 million times 80 contracts, $7.2 billion. Now, that's a lot of money, but I just showed you 2 wallets, and the smaller wallet had $52 billion in payouts. So if they were running this type of scheme, where did the other $45 billion come from that they paid out to account holders? Guys, the only thing that makes sense, the only way this would work, the only way it would be possible is if they're doing exactly what they said that they're doing. If every single $100 bill is actually represented by a $30,000 loan or a $40,000 loan that is then being compounded over 2, 3, 5, or 7 years, earning more and more profits to be paid out to people like you and me. Now, if you understand that and you see that it's real, keep this in mind. Once you actually know that this is real, this is almost impossible to keep to yourself. I mean, how could you, right? Why would you not want to help the people in your family, the people in your community? Why would you not want to help them to basically take care of some of their bigger financial needs, saving up for their dream home, being able to retire themselves or their parents, being able to put their kids through college, etc.? Of course, you want to share it with them, and I'm going to show you how that active sharing is going to actually translate into more money for you right now today. They've got 3 different ways that they pay. I'll go through them quickly, guys, and then we'll kind of wrap it up for you and let you get back on with your day or with your evening. The first is their direct commissions that are paid out. Now, for 2, 3, 5, and 7-year contracts, remember, there's a $100 processing fee that's going to be paid. Here's how this is going to work. If you personally refer someone to Cryptex, you personally refer them, that's what we call your level 1. Every single time they spend a $100 processing fee, Cryptex is going to pay you $30. So every $100 they spend, they can get up to 80 contracts. Remember, you're going to get $30, 30%. $30 for every single one of those times. Now, if they refer someone, that would be your level 2. So every time that person spends $100 for a Cryptex contract, you get $5. And you can see these numbers start to go on and on down to a total of 10 levels. And that got us excited because we understood the power of geometric growth. And people started saying, how many people do you think we could tell about this that will be excited? Hey, we're all big time builders. We were like hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands. And we realized that's not for everybody, though. So we said, hey, what if the average person didn't do what we did? What if they just went out and referred it to three people, like three people in their family, maybe even three people in their own household, right? I mean, they might not even have to leave the house to refer this out to three people, but if they referred it to three people and that started to replicate, those three refer three, etc., you would still end up with some pretty substantial numbers by the time you got through 10 levels. That's why we love this 10 level deep compensation structure. Now, the other thing was everybody can get 80 contracts, and that's the culture that we have on our team. Everybody's either got 80 or driving towards 80. But what if they didn't get there? What if for them, what made sense for them financially was just to be able to get 10 contracts? Again, we wanted to under promise, over deliver. But even with 10 contracts, with this payout and with this type of referral growth, you would start off making hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and collectively millions of dollars just from the front end of this compensation plan. And that's if you weren't doing anything amazing, just referring a few who referred a few, and only everybody getting 10 contracts. You could still get rich while you were waiting for your contracts to kick in on the other end. Speaking of the other end, though, that was something that got us excited as well, because Cryptex said, listen, if you guys go out there and you share this with people, here's what we're going to do for you. Not only are we going to give you that front end compensation, but once those contracts come to maturity and now we're executing them and paying them out on the other end, we're going to give you compensation there as well. Back in compensation. To show you what that means, guys, think about it. You remember that the previous slide, I showed you a three getting three model. If you don't remember, by the time you got down to the fifth level, there were 243 referrals, 2,430 contracts. At that point, you were making 4%. So 4% of $100 is $4, and that gave you $9,720 in front end money. But now it's, let's say, 3 years later, and we're getting to the back end. And once again, on level 5, it's 4%, but it's not 4% of $100. It's 4% of the executed value of the contract. If these were 3-year contracts, they cash out at $35,000 each for these people somewhere down in your team that you currently and probably never met before, but it doesn't matter, because 35,000 times 4% is $1,400, and you would get $1,400 in this case for all 2,430 of these contracts. That's $3.4 million. Think about the blockchain that we showed you. Think about people withdrawing 6 million, 5 million, 3 million. And all of a sudden, you start to understand how it is that one person could accumulate such wealth in a short period of time, because they're not keeping it a secret. They're going out and they're blessing others with this incredible offer that's on the table from Cryptex. The final thing I want to show you here is for the compensation was their leadership bonus, because they said, listen, guys, we know some superstars are going to come to the table. Some people are going to take this seriously, maybe put it more towards a full-time effort. And if you do that, if you come to the table and you personally refer 100 people who want a Cryptex contract, they don't have to be builders, they don't have to be superstars, they could get just one contract. But if you refer 100 people personally who each get at least one contract, and within your entire team, you have 1,000 contracts or more, we're going to call you our leader qualified bonus person. As a leader bonus qualified person, guys, that's going to be amazing. Ultimately, right away, you're going to get a $5,000 bonus from Cryptex, a congratulatory bonus saying thank you for going out there and putting in the extra effort towards the Cryptex project and really getting the word out. But from that point on, every month, they're going to look at your first 2 levels, your first and second levels, and they're going to say if 100 new contracts come in during that month between your first 2 levels, remember, not 100 new people. It could be the same exact people, just all getting another contract or two as they're pushing towards their 10 or 20 or 50 or 80, right? If 100 new contracts come in those first 2 levels, we are going to pay you a $5 additional bonus, not through 10 levels, not through 20, through infinity. Guys, remember, first slide I showed you the 3x3. On the 7th level, there were 2,187 referrals, 21,000 plus contracts at that level. You made 3% so far, $65,610. But if by the time you got to the 7th level, you had already qualified as a leader, you would get another $5 per contract in addition to the $3. That's an extra $109,000 into your pocket immediately that you could withdraw. And you could do this month after month after month as the contracts continue to pile up within your team. And that's the 7th level. Imagine what it looks like on the 10th, the 20th, the 50th, the 100th level as it continues to get larger and larger, and you're picking up $5 through infinity. You can start to do the math in your head. And by the way, for those of you superstars that are saying, man, but what if I don't get 100 contracts, in my first 2 levels? What would happen then? If you only get 50, they'll give you the $2 bonus through infinity. If you only get 20 that month, they'll give you the $1 bonus through infinity. This is still a tremendous amount of money. This is them rewarding you for your leadership. Let's do this, guys. Let's take this from theoretical and let's actually put it into an actual use case, a 3-year case study that we did. This is a person who had been involved in Cryptex for 3 years and 3 months when they let us take this snapshot of their back office. And this is what we saw. Okay. Number one, they had $7.6 million at that point of lock stake profits. That means the profits from them staking on their personal contracts was 4.7 million and growing. Okay. Because remember, some of these were 3-year contracts, some were 5 years, some were 7-year, etc. So 4.7 million and growing. This number could go up to 10, 15, $20 million or more. The rewards referral staking, which means the profits that they were going to get from their team contracts, was $2.8 million and growing. So that was exciting for them. But let me show you the money that they were able to earn and withdraw along the way. $2.1 million from their rewards referral program. That's the 10 levels deep. They had earned $584,000. And from their leader program, that means somewhere along their journey, they hit that leader bonus we just talked about. Once they hit that leader bonus, they picked up another $912,000. Guys, you add it up, that's $1.5 million on its own. Now, because this was past the 3-year mark, they actually already had a few of their team contracts actually hit their termination date. Their override from those team contracts that open up $289,000 plus, and they had 4 of their own contracts terminate and open up. They made another $316,000 from that. All in $2.1 million that they had pulled out already and deposited into their own bank accounts, and still $7.6 million and counting. This number is going to continue to get bigger every single day. Over here, that is an incredible amount of wealth to generate for you and your family in just a few years. And that's one example. We've seen much better ones. Guys, the final elephant in the room that I want to go through, and then we're going to wrap this whole thing up, is, hey, if this is so great, if Cryptex is so proud of what they've done for all these people, why is it all anonymous? Why don't we know who the banks are and the bank executives that we can call? Why don't we know who the insurance companies are, et cetera, et cetera? For you who are asking that question, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson right now to answer that question, and then we're going to be done, guys. And the lesson is about something called Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, everybody knows about it now, right? It's a household name. Everybody's wishing they got into Bitcoin early. By the way, I will tell you, it's not too late, but everybody wishes they got in early. But a lot of people don't even understand where Bitcoin came from. Based on this free market ideology, Bitcoin was invented in 2008 when an unknown entity published this white paper under the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto. Okay, pseudonym means that is not their real name. In fact, and most people agree today that it wasn't an individual at all. It was a group of developers. Now, they may not know, their names, but they do know why they created Bitcoin, because they made no secret of why they were creating Bitcoin. They created it because they were pissed off. Because back in 2008 is when the housing market crashed and almost destroyed the entire global finance market. In the U.S. alone, people lost their houses. They lost their life savings. Some people couldn't deal with the pressure of it. They lost their lives. They committed suicide and lost their lives. And here's what we found out. The banking industry knew. They knew all about it, but they didn't tell anyone. They let all of that happen. And you know what their punishment was for letting that happen? They got bailed out by the U.S. taxpayer dollars, and many of them got bonuses from their banks once they got the bailouts. Guys, that was disgusting. And these people who actually created Bitcoin, they were pissed and they said, we're not trusting them anymore. We want to create the people's money, something transparent, something with an agreed upon value that's not being driven or controlled by the banks, that is there for the people from this point forward. And that's where Bitcoin came from. Now, in 2009, Bitcoin's price was 1/3 of a penny. So it was a joke to a lot of people. But just 2 short years later, it achieved price parity with the US dollar. Okay. So one Bitcoin, $1. Today, Bitcoin is well over $100,000. We all know, most of us track it every single day. People say, man, if only I'd gotten some. If I'd got $5 worth in 2009, where would I be today, right? Well, let's talk about today. Today, there are over 25,000 different cryptocurrencies with a combined market cap of $3.3 trillion. There are over 172,000 crypto millionaires, 320 centimillionaires, and 28 billionaires. All of this is because Bitcoin was allowed to grow. Now, if Satoshi Nakamoto did not come out anonymous, if the developers actually revealed their real names and their real identities, let's look at a different history. If the banks actually knew who these people were, and the banks saw this type of growth, and they saw trillions of dollars being taken out of the banks and put into crypto wallets that were being controlled by the people and no longer controlled by or profited from by the banks, do you think it's possible that they might have said, no way? They would have strangled Bitcoin in its infancy. I promise you. They would have slandered all of the developers. They would have told you how they're horrible people. They do horrible things. Don't get involved with their horrible project. And none of this would have happened. The anonymity was not a bug, guys. It was a feature. And it's that same anonymity of the banks, the insurance companies, the smart contract creators that has allowed us to go out there and benefit from Cryptex, guys. Cryptex has run uninterrupted since 2016. And because of the anonymity, we're allowed to be a part of the largest wealth creation vehicle in history. That's it. That's why anonymous. Guys, at the end of the day, this is a simple process. You've seen the information. I want you to do your research and I want you to get your questions answered. You can see what these do for you. 22 grand here, 35 grand here, 471, 1.5 million. Or if you want to get the DeFi hybrid packs, the 2-year pack is, you're going to spend $1,000 for that today, and 24 months from now, you're going to get 330,000. Or you can spend $1,000 for the 3-year pack today, and 3 years from now get 525,000. Guys, you decide what makes the most sense for you and your family, and then you simply engage and go out and execute your plan, and we can help you with that. With that said, listen, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time so much. I hope you found this actually useful. And I'll tell you this, if you do decide that you want to be a part of the Cryptex team, let me be the first to say welcome to the family. I not only look forward to helping you with your strategy, I look forward to celebrating your success. Thanks so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's go take this to the world, and let's have some incredible success together. God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your night.